Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2. I don't know what the date is today because I didn't look at it before I started live streaming. And lately I don't know. I've been getting some gang stalking vehicularly. I'll tell y'all about earlier today. I just went and visited my grandma, but before. And how do I see chat? This is the first time I've done a live stream from my phone. Let's see, I want to see the live chat. So hello anybody coming in. I was like out visiting my grandma, and I'm just getting tortured so bad that I felt that I wanted to do a live stream and kind of practice doing a live stream on my phone. I'm gonna turn around the camera and see if I get gang stalked a lot. But I hope you guys are doing okay. I went to a convenience store near my grandma's house, and I was just getting some electronic cigarettes and a drink, and this big bald guy like walked up right behind me. He was like touching me like in the line, and I finished getting my drink and stuff, turned around to walk out, and the dude like took his shoulder and swung it into me. And it was like really aggressive gang stalking. And the probability that this guy was actually a gang stalker, because he had a white work van, and, it seemed like he was a government worker, governmental, and he just slammed me with his shoulder, and I got into a huge fight with him. I was like, hey, watch it, buddy, and he was like, no, you watch it. And then I just started, like, I've never felt so angry in my life, and I'm pretty sure it was like, remote neural manipulation, just amping my anger up. There's a one light van right when I'm coming out. Hey, Folk Henry Gers. Folk Henny Gers. Hey, nobody, how you doing? Let me see, my camera's kind of fuzzy. Let me see if I can clean it off a little bit. How are you guys doing? Yeah, but at least I went and visited my grandma today. We watched Dr. Phil, which I tried since so many targeted individuals and just said that we're crazy. But yeah, man, I got busted. I got busted in my. Yeah, I am getting a lot of gang. I've been out for a while, like visiting my grandma and stuff. So I guess they've had a lot of time to set up. It sucks. I'm getting tortured so bad. Like, I woke up this morning, the whole left side of my face, like my cheek and in my eye, just headaches that are just indescribable. I'm sure a lot of you targeted individuals know what I'm talking about. So, Folk Henry, I'm not doing too good. I was having sex, and these gang stalkers kept knocking, and more. That's no good at all, man. That's no good at all, folk. You don't want that to happen when you're, having relations. Hey, Healthy Living. Yes, I have on all sorts of products and the Bible. I'm just gonna read whatever chats pop up. Let me see if I can just pull up the chat so I can read them. Go to live chat. Live chat. Okay, there it is. Now I can see them all. Here's a one light SUV coming up on this light, if I can get it. I just get a lot of one light vehicles and sheriff's department vehicles and stuff like that. Here's another, but this car is really run down. So I don't know if they would maybe just not fix their light, So how's everybody doing? Hey, Future Knowledge. Future Knowledge says, I got a bunch of one headlight cars coming back from my grandmother's. Yeah. That's where I'm actually coming back from my grandma's right now. And I just don't want to go back to my condo. I'm sitting there, and I'm playing a pretty cool video game and doing some things, but man, I'm in so much pain. My brain's having a really hard time. I'm having a hard time just thinking, especially when I wake up. And I just don't want to go back to my condo. I can just sitting there all alone. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. Hey, Nex, how you doing, man? I've already got, like, right when I started this, I already had like 5 one-headlight cars punking me. And this, I usually don't have aggressive gang stalking. Like, usually my gang stalking is very passive, but today, this guy, he hit me. Like, he hit me in line, and I flipped out. Like, I wasn't gonna flip out. I was all like, hey, watch it, buddy. Like, I started off pretty calm, but he looked at me, and with, like, this little smirk, you know, that's, what's it called? Duper's Delight. Like, he had Duper's Delight all over his face, and he had this little smirk, and it was like, you watch out, buddy. Oh, and then he, like, turned around to the other guy, and he said, did you see this guy? And I immediately, like, this rage just ran through me, and I pointed at him, and I go, no, fuck you, buddy, fuck you. And I was like, and I said, you know, you're really low class. And then I walked out of the convenience store. I usually handle those situations well. I handle gang stalking situations well if it's passive. But if somebody, like, pushes me or threatens me or something like that, I blow up. And it's probably not good. Like, I make these videos, and sometimes I don't want to say certain things because I don't want my attackers to use it more on me, you know? I'm just going to drive around. I'm going to drive towards one of the busier streets. Hey, Feather, how are you doing? I haven't talked to you in forever. How are you doing, Feather? I hope everybody's doing really well. Or as good as we can be, you know. I'm seriously depressed. I know we've got a lot of hopeful stuff coming up, but, like, sitting there. Oh, and I wanted to tell y'all, you left home? Do you have a place to stay, Feather? Do you have a place to go to? Well, I wanted to tell you guys, okay, so Feather says, home, I fled, but the torture is worsening here now. Yes, oh, to your family, okay. Yeah, it seems to follow wherever we go. And, well, that's one thing I kind of wanted to talk about, guys, while I'm driving around. I don't know if any of y'all, probably some of y'all saw Dr. Horton's latest interview with Dr. Richard Lighthouse. And I kind of wanted to talk about that. I may make a video on it, just showing some highlights, but I'm sure everybody saw it. But, like, you know why? Targeted justice is so good, and Dr. Lighthouse is so good because they're talking about, you know, the contractors having access to these satellite systems. And I think that's really important. I think Dr. Richard Lighthouse, he's shooting the arrows right at the Hydra's head. Because if they didn't have these satellites to geolocate us and to actually help with the targeting, I don't think they could hit us everywhere in the world. I think access to these, I guess, what would you call it? Like a satellite, satellite matrix or whatever. But that's how they can pinpoint us wherever we go. And it's also, you know, how the targeting is directed from microwave towers and ground radar. You know, because our cell phones, we get signals from microwave towers, but it's all digitally routed through satellites. So I just think that, like, you know, targeted justice is going the right way. You know, they want to bring suit against, you know, they say Lockheed Martin is one of the biggest ones. I'm not sure if he says, like, that's because he said, like, he talks about Lockheed Martin, but from my research and everything I've learned, it's like there's all these different contractors and subcontractors that have access to these satellites, to actual Air Force satellites. But you know, the Air Force is the one who controls them and knows everyone that's using them, everybody who has access to them, and everything like that. I'm I'm probably gonna have a lot of one light cars coming off. The only time I don't get gang stalked severely, is on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So if you guys, you know, if you're a targeted individual and you get gang stalked heavily all the time, you know, those periods, well, you know, late at night too. Like I isolate and I try and do things when nobody's awake, so I can kind of bypass some of the gang stalking. Also, so okay, and there's a one light white. I don't know if I got that white car that just went by. So you guys watch Dr. Horton's latest interview with Dr. Richard Lighthouse. I think, you know, Targeted Justice is going for it. They're going to try and follow suit. They're also going to you know, TI days on August 29th. So eyes open this stage. Why are they stalking you? Well, I forgot your name already. I'm a targeted individual, so mine started. A lot of people are targeted for different reasons, but mine really started with the weapons torture. And then if they're experimenting and torturing on a citizen, like a citizen who's been brought into this program, it usually runs parallel. Some targeted individuals don't get gang stalking; they just get the weapons torture. But what I've learned is that they run this DHS Fusion Center, InfraGuard, Community Watch program to gang stalk targeted individuals that are getting tortured by these weapons, to discredit us. Also just to make money for the surveillance state. There's many angles, but a main reason why targeted individuals who are getting tortured with directed energy weapons and neuro weapons are being stalked is to discredit us. So if you go to somebody and you're like, oh, well, I'm getting hit with neuro. Oh, and look right behind me, guys. Look at that one light car right behind me, following me. Wow. I didn't know I'd be I guess, yeah, since I'm out a long time. So I think the main reason is, you know, intimidation, trauma, and discrediting. But then it's also just because they need meat for the grinder, right? They need meat for the grinder of all these FISA courts and DHS fusion centers. They need some meat to put in the grinder. So we're already being tortured and experimented on, and they just throw us in, you know, they throw us in to get stalked too. It all feeds in. Like I was gonna do this live stream and title it Cycles, because I was just thinking about how we get stuck in these negative cycles that just go on forever and ever and ever. So Folk Henry Gers, my car only has one headlight. Maybe I'm a gang stalker without knowing it. No, man, I have a red car, folk. So a lot of targeted individuals get gang stalked with red cars, but I own a red car and I'm not a gang stalker. It really mixes in. There are a lot of people, but this person following me behind me, it's so pronounced. Like they're following me and they have one bright on. So there are some people who just don't fix their headlights. Look, there's this white. Look, it's the frequency of it happening all the time. I don't know if y'all can see that. That white SUV had one headlight. Then that car right behind it had one headlight. It's too much. They pile it on. But there are people like Saturday morning, I had like 2 one headlight cars that I saw, and it might have been just people who hadn't fixed their headlights. I saw one like at the beginning, and then one when I was kind of going home. So it mixes in. Just like if if a targeted individual is getting color-coded stalking with red cars, they're gonna have some red cars where it's people who are not gang stalking. But since the targeted individual is sensitized to that, they're gonna think all red cars are gang stalking them. So I really do think that's really important for targeted individuals to know, like all this stuff, all this gang stalking stuff, even some of the weapons torture, like some of the things they do with the microwave weapons, it might get mixed in with normal pain that you're experiencing or normal, you know, things in your life. And that's what makes it so difficult to like prove, because everybody just wants to say, oh, well, that's just something normal. But it's really, I mean, that's a real specific thing that this program does. Oh, I should have gotten the other lane. Shit. it tries to mix in things. It tries to mix in the weapons torture and the gang stalking with just regular stuff. So then they can deny it. Johnny Brick says, ASUF, they can control your house. Yeah. This person's still behind me. Okay, I hope I don't get into a wreck here. It's about to rain. Look at those clouds. Look at those clouds right there. I don't know, I got really pissed off today. And I was thinking, because he was still in the gas station. He was still in the gas station when I got out my car, and I was about to get my phone out, but it's like he had already done it. So, you know, big dude. Like he must have been like 6'3" or something, you know, 6'4". And he just, I mean, he hammered me. Like, I mean, he purposely took his shoulder. So Waterfall said, gang stalking works through the supercomputer, makes ordinary ignorant people look like they are, and I couldn't read it all, it disappeared. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's very organized throughout DHS fusion centers. There's this light stopping on me. I get a lot of lights stopped right when I'm coming up to him. I think that you know, the directed energy weapon and neuroweapons torture, a lot of that is automated. But I think that some of, you know, a lot of TIs say that some of it could be the supercomputer messing with people's heads when they gang stalk. But I really think it's just organized through DHS fusion centers, and they you know, they GPS targets in the area. They'll have something on their phone, and when a target's driving through their area, they have that GPS node, and then they have their one light car, whatever they're supposed to do, and they go through that area. But they don't just do it for one targeted individual. It's like there's a bunch of gang stalkers probably in my area, and then there's probably, I don't know how many targeted individuals. There could be like 20, there could be like 15, but they're all gang stalking that area by the gang stalkers that work that area, either around where they work or where they live. A lot of companies, like, and here's a one headlight truck. You see that truck? That's one headlight. Can't really get it good. Eyes open this stage. Does anyone in chat know what meat for grinder means? You don't know what meat for the grinder means? It means like they need people, because they need to show that DHS fusion centers can be justified, that the money going into them can be justified. So they need to have a bunch of people that they can watch, and they need to make up reasons for it. So people who are already getting tortured by directed energy weapons and neuro weapons, they make us look kind of crazy, like we need to be watched because our brains are being microwaved. And they're like, oh yeah, look, we're watching all these people at DHS fusion centers, give us more money. So the government puts more money into DHS fusion centers because they're like, oh yeah, we're watching all these people, and they're dangerous and they're crazy and stuff like that. So that's like what meat for the grinder means. To justify their existence, because DHS fusion centers have found 0 terrorists in the country since their inception. They've actually found, so somebody said, why are they so mad? It's, you know, it's not, some targeted individuals say this is for revenge and stuff like that. In my case, I got implanted when I was like 12, and they threw me into the directed energy neuro weapons program. And then the gang stalking kind of just builds up around it, because they need a way to discredit you. They also need a way to traumatize you all the time, to keep you isolated, to traumatize you, to keep you agitated, to keep you anxious, to keep you depressed. So then they can, with the remote neural manipulation, they can take those EEGs of when you are traumatized, depressed, or you're isolated, and they can amp those up and push them back in. I mean, there's a whole lot of other angles. But they, you know, what I think we should know by now is that whenever, you know, whenever centralized agencies, you know, these contractors, the DoD, whenever somebody like with big money does something that they don't want people to find out about, and there was a city police right there. When they do something they don't want people to find out about, they make it really complicated. They make it have a lot of different angles and a lot of moving parts and a lot of things going on so that people can like ask a one-sentence question about it, and it's very hard to explain. So when you're explaining something back that takes so many different layers to explain what's happening, and you're just you're just surviving it, like you didn't do anything and it's just happening to you. Somebody asks like a one-sentence question like, oh, why is this happening? And then you're just like, okay, well, it's a pretty complicated thing. And so you just sound like a maniac when you're going through all the, the complicated angles of why this is happening. So, and it seems to work. It seems like the social conditioning has got everybody. So if something's not simple, they don't believe it, which is really bad in our world, because everything is becoming pretty complicated and sophisticated. At least the stuff that's hurting us, the stuff that's hurting us is becoming really efficient, streamlined, has a lot of different compartments working on it. They get things done, but things that work in the public's favor are working on a shoestring. Lisa Marie Tattersall says, I can't always tell the channels that buffer that they are definitely telling the truth. Is my live stream buffering? I don't know. I don't do a lot of live streams like when I'm out driving, but I just didn't want to go back to my condo today. Oh, Lisa, do you mean like you think it might be pre-recorded or something like that? I kind of question that too, but the thing is, if somebody doing a live stream is talking to the chat and they're talking to you, and there's a one light black SUV, I'm not getting it. I can't. Hey Autumn, how are you doing? I feel good. At least I went and visited my grandma. He passed away in 2011, around 2011, like right when my targeting, like right when I thought it had started back then, but it had been going on longer. There's a red truck with a I'm getting a lot of one light cars out here. Certain times of the day it gets really bad because people are out and about, and they do this stuff on their way to work or on their way home, or just if they work for a business that where they have to drive around during the day. The business will have a compartmentalized part of it that works with DHS fusion centers or InfraGard or the sheriff's department with the community watch stuff. Good. I'm glad you're doing the pain from the remote neural manipulation. Like, they give me these headaches in my eye, like in my left eye and the left cheek down to the jaw. And it's just like with the remote neural manipulation already like suppressing my mind, and then those headaches, I just feel like, man, I can barely think. I have a hard time. Yeah, Lisa Marie says it. She pretty much says how I feel. It's like she had a friend who asked her about it, and it's hard to explain. It's so multifaceted. It's very easy to ask like a one-sentence question about it, but to explain like all these different organizations that are involved in doing this, and they're making so much money off of it, and then you see things like that, like the Elon Musk what's it called? Neuralink. Am I getting that right? Like, my memory's so bad. But yeah, the Neuralink thing. So you have all these consumer products, which are just one angle, because they're doing all these advances for the military, advancing the weapons, advancing how to control people and stuff like that. And there's like consumer products, medical advancements and things like that, where there's so much money. That's why I'm saying, like, as targeted individuals, if you're being hit with this directed energy and neuro weapons, you're owed millions and millions of dollars. Like, they're gonna make so much money off of all this technology and hooking it into people's heads wirelessly, and everybody's gonna have a headset that they like turn on their internet and just think words, and the words will type out on the computer, and everybody's gonna have one of these things. It's gonna be the new iPhone type thing, and they're gonna make trillions and trillions of dollars off of just those consumer products, not to mention the contractors that are gonna be building and manufacturing new neuro weapons for actually real, like wars out in the Middle East and stuff like that, using it on terrorists in quotation marks. So eyes open this stage. These cars have people in them that are paid to scare you. No, I mean, I get stalked by DHS fusion centers, so it's like somebody would maybe hook up through their neighbors or whatever. They tell them about DHS fusion centers, and then they would have on their phone, they would have an app where they get direction, like, hey, turn your GPS on to geolocate these targets in your area, then put a one headlight on, or do street theater and stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of them are paid. I'm sure they do supplement their income from working with DHS fusion centers or InfraGard, but they're not just paid to stalk me. It's not like DHS fusion center says, okay, there's this guy Kyle, and you're gonna be just stalking him, right? Maybe people in my condo do that. They're just there, you know, the DHS fusion center says there's somebody living in this condo space who we're, you know, watching. It's a person of interest. But these people who vehicularly stalk, they're vehicularly stalking all targets in an area, right? So it's not like they're just paid to stalk me, they're paid to stalk. Now to them, they don't call it stalking, right? We call it gang stalking. Like, cause we're, you know, most of us, I think there probably are people that gang stalk that are not hurting from the torture, but they're probably still remote neural monitored. But like me and a lot of you other targeted individuals, you know, we're getting hit with directed energy and neuro weapons. And then these people who do they call it community policing. That's what it's called. Like if you work for InfraGard or DHS Fusion Center, or, you know, the sheriff's department, community watch, you call it community watch or community policing. And they would call us, instead of like a targeted individual, they'd call us a person of interest. Like DHS Fusion Center would call us like a person of interest. They wouldn't, I guess some of them would maybe use the word target, like, you know, are you on the target or whatever. It's starting to become more common. But they have prettier PC words for all this murder. Yeah, Folk Henry Gurr said they hire a bunch of actors. Rainbow Warrior says, I love Grubhub, they are good to me. Spread the word. So Grubhub. It's a very interesting name. I've already been streaming for 30 minutes. It seems like I just turned this thing on. Okay, but so I went to my grandma's and hung out with her, watched Dr. Phil, and I ended up getting my grandpa's. He passed away in 2011. I got his hearing aids, but I don't know if they have a noise canceling function on them. So I'm gonna kind of play around with them. They're really built for his ears, and I think they just turn up the sound. But I'm gonna see, maybe I can turn up the sound around me, and it may affect actual V2K from the microwave hearing, sending a signal to my inner ear. Yeah, Folk Henry Gurr says they are manipulating time, so 30 minutes is like 5 minutes. Yeah, that happens a lot of times to me. You know, most of the time they will quicken time for me so that it feels like I'm sitting there for 30 minutes, but it's actually been like, you know, 10 hours or something like that. So I feel like I've lost the day, right? But it's like at this point in my life, you know, dealing with all this stuff, it's like I make videos about this. I'm trying to do more. Like I want to get my affidavit finished, you know, because I'm gonna try and work with, you know, I'm part of Targeted Justice, and I really would like to enter my affidavit there. I think they're going after the right people. They're going after the contractors, you know. So, and here's the one light. See, you see the frequency, guys? Here's the one light SUV right there. And it's too many. It's too many. Like, I know some people don't fix their lights and shit, but the frequency of it is just too much. I'm gonna turn my camera around. I see my hat. I gotta get a better. I got my other hat, but this one's comfortable. I'm gonna flip back around. And there was something, okay, and then also, guys, the other night, I did want to tell y'all to check out S. Robles. I don't know if she's in chat. but check out S. Robles' channel. Her targeting is so similar to mine, except her V2K. Her V2K actually says her name, and it seems like her V2K is like mine. Mine was the first few years, but then my attackers started automating it more, started putting things that they would manually say into the Chatterbox software, and then all of it was kind of like repeated in a loop. But at the beginning, my V2K was a lot like hers, except they just didn't say my name. They wanted to dehumanize me more than that. She has really good testimonial videos that I think everybody should see. S. Robles, and I think her name is Stacy. S. Robles. She's doing some good work. I know it sucks, like, there's a sheriff's car. I wonder if he'll try and get me. See, I mean, that sheriff's car, it's like, check this out. Everybody who questions targeted individuals, that sheriff's car may not have been gang stalking me. He may have not been in the area. That could have just been a coincidence there. But if I see like 10 sheriff's cars while I'm out, the frequency of it is like, it's provable that that came from DHS Fusion Centers and this light. Usually I just try and get through them before they change on me. It's just, man, this is so screwed up. Trying to stay upbeat and stuff like that, but it's just it's a constant nightmare all the time. Constant nightmare, and like I try and, you know, well, my mom knows about it, so I guess I should count myself lucky. It's like my grandma would never understand this stuff. We were watching Dr. Phil, and there's this girl who was like accusing her mom of like diddling her daughters, right? And you know, this girl, like, there's so many people being targeted. There's so many people being targeted by neuroweapons, and their families are being messed with, and, you know, all this crazy, bizarre stuff. People are just being rolled into these programs. And this woman that was accusing her mom, like, she was, you know, she went on this retreat with a guru and was, you know, doing all this stuff, and she seemed like, and she said she had experiences with aliens. It was like all this weird stuff, and it really seemed like a targeted individual who her mind was being messed with. But me and, you know, and I'm not sure, I can't say 100%. This does have to enter into a conversation of all this bizarre stuff going on, all the murders going on in the world, shootings, just weird stuff happening. These weapons have to be known that they're being used on a lot of people, because it can make a weird situation even weirder and darker and more violent. But my grandma was just like, yeah, they need to lock her up. She's crazy. And I was kind of like laughing. But it's like, if I, you know, that's what my grandma would think about me. I mean, she loves me, so. But it's just like these older people who don't understand how complicated the world has gotten. And like even some young people just refuse to believe that this could ever happen. They refuse to believe that what is happening in our world, the exponential rate that technology is increasing and how it's being used for very, very immoral purposes. They refuse to believe it, because then that means that it could happen to them. To even understand that something could be done to somebody's brain, that neuroweapons could be used from afar on people's brain. I mean, we really, like, I don't know what's gonna happen, guys. Like, I know we're coming up with a lot of hopeful stuff, and I think we'll end this program, but I mean, as far as the world goes, evil people at the top, you know, their whole plan, and like, I forgot who said it. I think it may have been, oh God, who was the head of the CIA? JFK fired them. I can't, it's like it's the most famous director of the CIA. But somebody in the CIA, or, yeah, I think somebody in the CIA, one of the heads of the CIA said, you know, when everybody in America thinks, what do they say, when everybody in America believes the wrong thing, or you know, what they believe is wrong, then our job will be complete. I can't even remember the saying. But it seems like they're getting there. It seems like people have no idea what's happening in their world. You know, people are suffering so badly, and people just spit on them and just, they want to call them crazy. I don't get it. Like, I still don't get how this could happen. I always had a lot more a lot more hope in people, like a lot more confidence in people's ability to be like, okay, that's the situation, we've got to deal with it. But it seems like as time goes on and the social conditioning and decadence and me culture goes on, people don't give a crap about what happens outside of their bubble. And I think that also a lot of people's lives are really bad, even if they're not directly targeted. So it's hard for them to take time out of their life and be like, oh, well, somebody else is hurting, because everybody's hurting. So it's just this cycle. We're going to break through it. We're going to break through it. Go to all the rallies and stuff, get some doctors to help. I'm really hopeful about that. I'm really hopeful about Dr. Michael Hoffer. I think that, if he can write some papers on this and get some other doctors interested in knowing that it's not a mental disorder, it could spread through the medical community, and then we'd have a lot of different doctors in different states to at least help us out, and to actually, document it, because if you can get a document from a doctor, then you can bring it to a lawyer, and that's the thing that we've got to do. Featherlight says, I need doctor recommendations. Feather, look up Dr. Michael Hoffer. Dr. Michael Hoffer in Miami. Just go on Google and put in Dr. Michael Hoffer, Miami. And you could call in, Feather. You can call into his office and go, hey, I'm a targeted individual, and they know what you're talking about. And you just got to do a hearing test with them, and then you can have an appointment with them. I'm still thinking of questions I can ask him. I really wanted to ask, I want to ask about the implant thing. Has he done any imaging on implants? What kind of doctor would be the best doctor for us to have the best chance of them imaging and getting out implants? Y'all email me. I couldn't see what you just wrote, Feather. Let me see. Let me go to. I have it set up where where I see one chat, but it goes away. Like that. Live chat. Why is somebody honking at me? Why are you honking at me? Yeah, but Feather, look up Dr. Michael Hoffer. He's the only doctor that I've known of that, I guess, who is that other doctor? Melinda, I can't remember her last name. Yeah. Oh, Future Knowledge. Yeah, ex-CIA director William Casey. That was it. When everything that the American people know is wrong, our job will be done. That's what he said. And it looks like they're on their way. Yeah, Folk Henry Gers said, ram your car, it'll give them a reason to honk. Yeah, whatever. People can do whatever. I think the gang stalking doesn't bother me as much. I just hope that what happened this morning with this huge bald guy. I don't want to be racist. Because I get gang stalked by black and white people, but he's a huge bald black dude, and he ran me with his shoulder and just looked at me and just he was doing it on purpose. He was a gang stalker. It was 100%. And at first I was like, hey man, watch it. And he was like, no, you watch it. And he just he was like, hey, I can do whatever I want to. And I got so I had this just anger come over me. And I was like, fuck you. And he goes, no, fuck you. And I go, that's really low class what you just did. I kind of brought it down a little bit. I said, that's really low class. And then I just left. I hope it's not a signal that my gang stalking is going to get more aggressive, though. I guess, I don't know. It's weird because I don't want it to get more aggressive, but if my gang stalking did get more aggressive, I could get better evidence. That's kind of how I think. But I don't know. A lot of targeted individuals are getting evidence about the gang stalking. I think we do need to be careful, because I do see a lot of targeted individuals actually harassing people who are not gang stalkers because they think that they are. But that's par for the course. When you start harassing people with strategically placed gang stalkers, they're gonna start thinking that people who are doing weird stuff to them are gang stalkers. And that's planned. That's what this program intends to do. So what makes me so mad is, why do the human beings that react like fucking human beings get blamed? Because there's this huge program to do just that, to drive them crazy, to hurt them with weapons, and then say, oh, well, you're harassing people. Well, obviously you start gang stalking somebody, and they're gonna start seeing gang stalking around them. Like, the people who are angry or think that this is crazy should think the right thing is crazy, should think that this program is crazy, not the people being fucking murdered by it and harassed by it, right? It should seem like the most logical thing in the world. The people who are surviving this and being harassed and murdered, they shouldn't get the blame. The program that's doing it, that there's evidence of this program existing, DHS fusion centers, gang stalking, there's so much evidence of it. People can't just come out and say it on the news because, you know, and still DHS fusion centers are talked about, but they can't just come out and say everything they're doing, because it's a secret little thing. It's a secret community watch. They can't let people know because they don't want the persons of interest to know about it. And so the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. You can't go up to, like, my maintenance guy. I can't just go up to him and be like, hey, have you heard of this, you know, gang stalking stuff? Because, like, I think I'm being community policed. He'd have to say, I don't know anything about that, because they're supposed to hide it from us. So you can't get, so there's no communication. There's just harassment. You either get harassed or you harass people, you know? And there's no communication and fixing it and doing the right thing and sussing things out. No, none of that. None of that. Just keep everything where people are behind walls attacking people, and you know, behind their remote platforms attacking people, and then there's people, you know, secretly, you know, doing hand signals or just, you know, aggressively pushing you. And then it's like, hey man, are you a gang stalker because you're pushing me? I don't know what you're talking about. So look, there's a situation that cannot be fixed. And here's another situation that can't be fixed. A bunch of people in hiding, using remote platform weapons, integrated weapon systems to hit target individuals. Oh, they're just hidden, so it can't ever be fixed, and they'll just keep killing. All this stuff that just keeps going under the surface, and nobody can face-to-face talk to each other and work out the problem. So it's just this growing thing where the survivors of this just get hurt more, and then the regular public is just sitting there participating in it, waiting for their family's chance to be a target of this. I mean, how ridiculously stupid are we? Like, how, and I'm just not targeted individuals at all. I'm saying how ridiculously stupid are, like, the middle class, the people who just live in the cities we live in. They're stupid. Like, participating in things that will one day down the road hurt your kids. These programs will hurt people's kids who are participating in them. Ridiculous. Causes more, you know, more violent acts and crazy, bizarre, random acts and everything like that. Remotely using neuro weapon. Yeah, future knowledge, you control that chat room, buddy. I really appreciate you moderators. All you moderators, I really thank y'all. I'm gonna try, you know, I don't know. I'm thinking, I just want to do what I'm thinking of instead of saying, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, because I always do that. But I'm gonna try and do some cooler stuff. I really do every day, guys. I gotta be honest with y'all. Every day after I make a video, I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make videos anymore. And it's not because, it's because of the, you know, the neuro weapons, what they're doing to my head, but also the left side of my face, man. It's just like this vagus nerve and all these muscles ripping into my head. And it's like sometimes I'm like, I don't even, like, I have a bunch of stuff to talk about, but I can't organize it in my head good enough, you know? And so I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep making videos, but, you know, we've got to. We're getting so close. I went, today, guys, I went and, this morning, I just went on YouTube and put in the term targeted individual You guys should try. You guys should do that. Any targeted individuals, just put targeted individual in YouTube and go down the list. And if you see any new targeted individuals that are trying to build channels, go ahead and subscribe to them and give them likes and stuff like that. So I'm seeing like a whole new layer of new targeted individuals coming out and talking about this. And so it's really snowballing. You know, it's gonna be a thing. It's going to be a thing where we put this in people's face enough and then they eventually can't deny it. Because people want to deny this however they have to deny it. Because it's a very evil thing. It could hurt them and their families. They just don't want to believe that authority figures would do this. Yeah, next. Do you have a place, man? So Clouds Gray Valiant says, yes, please check out my channel for music. So Clouds Gray Valiant. Hey Selders, man, how you doing? You're hanging in there next? You got a place to stay, huh? Lisa Marie Tattersaw says, I'm targeted and so is my son. They break into our apartments all the time. Yeah, that's what it's like. I have to, like I have this shit that I'm sorry, I keep cussing, guys. I have this stuff that's like a detox thing that I have to keep in the refrigerator, right? But if I want to go visit my grandma or go anywhere, I have to take it with me and it heats up in the car. So I'm not even sure it works anymore because you have to keep it refrigerated, but I can't leave it in my refrigerator because like people around me come into my place, they unplug the my grounding straps from the wall. They do a lot of stuff that only I can see. They'll like rub the Velcro off of stuff. They take my underwear and they stretch them out. They do weird stuff in my bathroom, and I think it's my maintenance guy. And I've been living in that freaking condo for years. I don't see how he would think I'm some kind of criminal who needs to be watched. You know, I don't see how he would still believe that. I don't see it. Oh, look, the fire truck. Could be gang stalking. Is it gang stalking? Is it just a fire truck? I don't know. Could be either one because it all mixes in, but I'd probably say it's gang stalking. Who knows? Who knows? I know I'm being gang stalked, but I don't know. Every car that looks like it's gang stalking me, is it gang stalking me? Or is it just a weird coincidence? Or is that what it's supposed to be? Is it supposed to be that you're gang stalked so that if you do see a fire engine or a sheriff's car that's not gang stalking you, you will think that it's gang stalking you? I think that's probably why. Because all this stuff has a reason. They know how people act, they know how people react, and they do it so that it all groups in together. So if they start color coordinated stalking you with red cars, every red car you see, you will think is gang stalking you because you're a human being, and when something happens a couple of times, you get sensitized to it, you know? But that's why we've got to, like, you know, desensitize ourselves to it, and, you know, try and get things where there's a lot of frequency of, you know, one light cars or this color coded thing. You know, basically targeted individuals just have to do what is in their heart to do. Because this stuff gets freaking complicated, you know, and people who, you know, either perpetrators who want to cover this up and discredit us, they're going to find something. They're going to say something. It just, I don't get it, because even people who are involved in this program and doing it, and here's this light change right here. Yeah, next. Look at that. Look at those clouds, man. Look at those clouds. We had that big storm like 2 weeks ago or something, and I was kind of trying to see if it would tone down my directed energy weapon torture, because I'd read something where it ionizes the sky, and it would maybe affect some of that, but it really didn't. It really didn't. And that car was almost gonna hit me. There was a one light car coming down that way too. When I stay out for a while, like if I'm just going out, I won't see a lot of one light cars, but if I have to go out anywhere for like an hour or 30 minutes and I stay out for a while, they seem to get it going. Do you guys experience that? Yeah, Selders, August 29th, man. TI Day, New York City, and in Oregon. So, hey, okay, so does anybody have all the cities have all the cities where the rallies are going to happen. And then also, guys, remember October. In October, Targeted Justice is going to have a big rally in Washington. They're going to have a huge rally in Washington. So go and watch Dr. Horton's latest interview with Dr. Richard Lighthouse. That's a really important interview. And the satellites that are geo positioning us and helping with all the targeting, that the microwave towers, drones, over-the-horizon radar, ground radar, the satellites are integral. The satellites are like the brain of directed energy weapon targeting. You know, they're how they locate us so easily everywhere, and they're how everything is so specifically targeted. Like I don't know the word for it, but there's such concise targeting. The satellites are like the brain of all this. Where do y'all want me to go? I need something to eat. Let's see, where can I go to eat? Next, you've been working on something new, man? Well, you need to come on my channel. I guess next, what are you? I think I saw something. I think I saw something on your YouTube channel or something you posted where you were saying you're gonna do Zoom. You're gonna move to Zoom. Cause Google Hangouts is going away August 1st. And see, look, this light's changing right when I pulled out on the street. This light changes right here. I get so many light changes. Okay, so you're getting Zoom. I was thinking, dude, about getting Streamlabs. Like, I see a lot of people with Streamlabs. It looks really fun. It looks like you can mess with your background, and you could like put different pictures in the background and stuff. Maybe I'll get Streamlabs and then Zoom instead of like using Skype. Instead of using Skype with Streamlabs, I might get, and look at this. I wonder if I'll get arrested. You know, see, that's gang stalking. Dude, he was set up coming out of that street. I've actually been getting a lot of gang stalking today, and I think it's because I am filming it. When I start filming it, I start getting a lot more gang stalking, because I think what happens is anybody who's not a person of interest, who isn't being watched by DHS fusion centers, they can videotape whatever the hell they want, right? They can just videotape anybody. But since we're a person of interest, if we are filming anything, like in a park, a tree, a squirrel, in our car, it's seen as suspicious activity that we're filming stuff. So it gives them more of a reason to gang stalk more. You know, it pumps up the gang stalking. And trust me, guys, I'm not saying don't film things. Film, you know, your gang stalking and stuff like that. I'm gonna start to a lot. Oh, there's a one light truck right in the front of that light right there. Oh, there's the one light. Dude, they're all over the place. There's no way that this many people do not fix their lights. Like, I mean, I already know that this is it's a signifier for DHS fusion centers, but I just want to tell people who can't imagine it, you know, probably if you aren't a targeted, like if you are not a targeted individual directly, you could go out and you'd see some one light cars if you really tried to pay attention for it. But, you know, probably some of those one light cars that you see going by you, they're actually, you know, working for DHS fusion centers in your area. And they're not doing it to signify you, but they just happen to be driving by you. So when targeted individuals see it, it's a signifier, you know. It's like, you can see this. This is a sign that we are keeping an eye on you, or whatever the crap. People are so stupid nowadays. I'm not talking about any of you guys in chat or that watch my video. I'm just saying, like, the general public and even like some authority, like, they're just so dumb. Like, we're just sitting here waiting. You know, no, let me take that back. Targeted individuals, we're actually being murdered, but everybody else is just sitting around waiting to be murdered. And they're helping to murder other people while they're sitting around waiting to be murdered. Like, it's just, ugh. Hey, Cyber, you were saying, hey, baby, to next? Hey, baby. Hey, baby, how you doing? How you doing, baby? Got a lot of one-light cars out here. So, where y'all want me to go? There's a one-light. Right there, there's a guy with his arm hanging out. It's just poured on today. I don't know why. I guess because I'm filming. Because they found some justification. There's a one-light. Can't get it. Right there. Cyber 9. Is that a new channel, Cyber? Did you make a new channel? Yeah, everybody go subscribe to Cyber 9. I thought it was Cyber Reconnaissance. Oh, one light right there. Well, you know, Cyber, we're all gonna get censored. If you're a targeted individual and you're talking about gang stalking and being targeted by directed energy weapons, YouTube has deemed it borderline content, such as Flat Earth or any of these other kind of, you know, we shouldn't even be compared to Flat Earth, right? But they've deemed us as borderline content, still suitable for advertisers, but they're not. You know, if someone watches a lot of videos, they might promote your video, they might show that to them, but they won't just spread it around YouTube. So get really, yeah, Feather, look it up. It's borderline content. Not necessarily content YouTube can just totally take down channels, but it's content where they definitely won't promote it, you know. I mean, I think like Michael Barton, Dr. Horton, Ramola D, they should all have like, you know, 30,000 subscribers or something like that. But I think they're heavily censored. They're still doing pretty good though. Hey, S. Robles. I watched a bunch of your videos and gave you some likes. Your targeting is like exactly like mine, except for the V2K. Mine's more automated now. Really helped me out. Really helped me out, S. Robles, because like even though everybody's targeted, it's like to hear somebody say exactly what you're going through, it really helps to not feel isolated. There's a one-light SUV there. I'm glad my channel, somebody said I should have 30,000. I appreciate that, that I should have 30,000 subscribers. I don't know. God does things for a reason, and I like having this, you know, smaller channel or kind of medium size for a targeted individual channel, because I have very good chats. Like a lot of very smart targeted individuals can have good conversation, ask good questions. I feel when your channel gets really big, you almost can't do anything with the chat room. It's like it's just going so fast and everybody's talking about different stuff. So I know this, that I'm gonna really just enjoy the size of my channel right here. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna put out information, and then whatever happens, kind of just happens. Yeah, S. Robles. I know how you. That's what I like. Every time, like today, I was like, man, I don't even want to make a video because the left side of my head feels all ripped up, and I'm like, I can't. You know, I don't know what I'm going to talk about because it's just, you know, it gets so it not normalized, but just like you go through it all the time. At the beginning, it was like. At the beginning, you know, I wanted to talk about every detail, but then you go through it so long and you're trying to ignore a lot of the things that they're doing, and it becomes so layered and all this crap, and you really try and forget about it and neutralize it and ignore it. And so then it's like you get on a video to talk about it and you're just like, well, I was trying to ignore it and I don't really want to talk about it. We have to document it. You're documenting it very well. I know it's hard when you're being hit by this stuff. You know, you kind of got me thinking. Sometimes I'll say what my V2K is saying. I really think that's a good idea to like write down what they're saying when you're writing it down, because you know yours are like, they are a lot more manually than mine, I think, and they actually respond to it. You know, when you're writing stuff down, and it really shows. I mean, it just you know, it should be immediately proven when you're writing down like what the V2K is saying. It should be an immediate proof that it is not schizophrenia. You know. Let's see what's my V2K saying right now. The guy goes, he's crazy. And then the woman, like a lot of times, she says, turn it off. Turn it off. It's enough. Okay, and then the guy goes, yep, we're gonna put him away. And then the girl said something. Sometimes it's kind of muffled. I can hear the voice, but I can't hear the exact phrase that they're saying. Yeah, guys, check out S. Robles' channel. So Folk Henny Gers says they are always reading my mind. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me too. Yeah, S. Robles, you were talking about how, you know, even when you think like visually, like I think that before the targeting, we probably all thought way more visually and not with our inner voice, but I don't know. They try and make you think in words more. Dr. Hall says that your attackers will do something with remote neural manipulation in this inner voice stuff where they try and make you think in words more. But when you're thinking of like a visual, like say I was thinking about my grandma in my head, and she, my inner voice, even though I don't notice it, sub-vocally, my inner voice is saying, oh, it's my grandma. Like I'm saying that on a deeper sub-vocal level, which they can pick up. But what they try and do, our attackers try and make you try and bring that to the surface more and more. Like when you're thinking of something, explaining it in words, right? And I think they use like NLP, a lot of conditioning to get you there doing that. It's just so insane. This is so insane. We're being murdered. We're being tortured. Like the boxes of y'all's texts keep coming up and then they disappear really rapidly. I'm gonna have to figure it out where I can keep y'all's texts open longer, because I can't read them. Where y'all want to see? We're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, going down to Florida Street. Y'all want to see anything in the city? Featherlight says, Colin, video I knew said to call them transmissions, not V2K. It's V2K. Like the audible voice stuff, I'm just gonna call voice to skull. But I hear a lot of targets, like they'll call everything voice to skull. Like Matthew Choi calls everything voice to skull, like the remote neural manipulation, the remote neural monitoring. Voice to skull, it's like an audible voice. You know, microwave hearing, voice to skull. Transmission, yeah, I mean, I guess you can call it anything, right? I mean, Kevin Christian calls everything an EMF broadcast, which, you know, these are integrated weapon systems, but, I mean, it's kind of right. Like, if you have implants in some of the smart dust in your body, they probably are, from their integrated weapon system, doing a broadcast from a microwave tower to send signals to non-consensual. Okay, check this out. So I'm sitting in my condo last night. Oh, thanks, Next Level. Yeah, I've had it since 2008. Next Level's a nice car I have here. Yeah, I've had it since me and my mom got them in 2008, and I've kept them. Look at this red truck up here. It's an old car. I've had to fix it a lot. And I'm just gonna keep it till it dies, man. I'm gonna keep this car till it dies. Like right now, the right front wheel feels like it's about to fall off. I'm just gonna drive it till it gives out. And here's one light. I'm not getting these very well. See that car? One light right there. Just a whole lot of them. Go down Florida, see what's going on. So wait, what was I was saying? I was thinking about something. Okay. So I'm sitting in my condo last night. I'm getting V2K, the high pitched sound. you know, high-pitched sound in my ears, and you know, my attackers are like hitting the left side of my cheek and my face. And so then I go, you know, I have to charge my electronic cigarette in my refrigerator, because my attackers will just heat it up so much it'll break my electronic cigarette. So I go to my refrigerator and I pull out my electronic cigarette that I was charging in the refrigerator. They had broken one of my electronic cigarettes through the refrigerator. So my point is, like, I'm sitting in my room getting hit with all this stuff, with V2K, with a bunch of stuff my attackers are doing to me, and yet they're also hitting with a probably over the horizon radar or ground radar. They're hitting my electronic cigarette in my refrigerator just to show me they can do it, or more likely they just want to see why I think they did it. And then they're going to go, oh, he thinks we did it for this reason, and they're going to take the psyop that way. But, you know, so that's why I say integrated weapon systems, because if you have your attackers, they're sitting on an integrated weapon system where they can hit your electronic cigarette in the refrigerator while they're keeping all these attacks going on you. There's many different delivery mechanisms for the directed energy, many different ways that they can, you know, get it to you. But like I was saying earlier, I think y'all got to watch that Dr. Richard Lighthouse with Dr. Horton, because I really think the satellite setup over the globe is how it runs so efficiently, how we can't get away from it ever, you know, because the satellite is geopositioning us, and it's also and it also helps with the targeting. So Cyber9 says she found out, disappeared, found out a lot of information about new Army weapon systems. Yeah, okay, so I gotta subscribe to you, Cyber. All right, Cody, thanks for coming, man. We've been going for about an hour. Guess I didn't really have much to talk about. I might drive around for a little while longer. Got a lot of vehicular stalking. I kind of wanted to just get on a live stream in my car, because I got some very aggressive gang stalking today. I guess it might be because the torture's hurting me pretty bad. And whenever I think they do that, like whenever it's like they do it when you feel really good or when you feel really bad. They want you to be in this they want you to be in this little zone of where they want you to be. And if you're too happy or you're too sad, they want to bring you back to this little zone of always concentrating on what they're doing. So Cyber9 says, I plan on putting together and sending out a new segment. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I want to do some more stuff too. I don't know. We really, though, because somebody was talking about, you know, censorship. Cyber, you're talking about censorship. We've really got to promote each other's channels. Like, we've really got to have each other on each other's channels and really promote. You know, I just need to, every once in a while, just have a video where I go through target individuals trying to build up their channels, so people will go over there. I might go to KFC. That's a Marine Corps on the front of his truck. I'm not getting those good. The camera doesn't pick them up. See if there's any cops. Yeah, Future Knowledge says this network is worldwide. Definitely, man. It's definitely. Brian too has been everywhere. He's been all over the world, and they keep hitting him. That's because, like, the satellite can route it. The satellite can route to microwave towers in the area. I don't know, Cyber. Cyber says, how does he afford that? I think he had a really good job before the targeting started. Like, I think he had a real good job with maybe the Department of Defense, like, building stuff. Like, I don't think he wasn't, like, he said that he was in special operations. I just think he had a really good job that paid really good money, and he's kind of living off that now. Or he might have gotten an inheritance or something like that. Cyber 9, you worked for Lockheed Martin. I'd say that's the first place you need to look for you may know how your targeting started. But I'd say that's it. Yeah, that's, in your case, it's somebody there. Because like James Lyko worked at Lockheed Martin too, and he's pretty sure that's where it started. I can't believe they do that. People who work for them, they just start attacking. So it's like, if you even go work for a contractor like this, like say my attackers who are working for some kind of contractor or subcontractor, that contractor can just start hitting them at any time, even when they're attacking people. This is just like dog eat, dog eat, dog eat, dog eat, dog eat. Look, here's another one like car, that truck. It's just like one after another, after another, after another. There is no problem. Okay, and this car right behind me, I couldn't get it. This guy has one light on, and he looks like a gangster. He looks like a gangster with tattoos all over his arm. I'm not gonna say he's ex-military because I'd just be guessing. Featherlight says his messenger, Brian too. No, Brian shows up as Brian too. Look at this white work truck. Another one light car right there. Maybe they're putting on a show or something, because I usually don't get this many one light cars. Or maybe I'm just not noticing it. I think that may be it. I really ignore, like, if I'm not trying to get stuff on tape, I ignore everyone. Like, not talking about like online, like I ignore people around me when I go out. Like that guy who shouldered me this morning, I was ignoring him. Like, I was in front of him getting my drink, and then I turned around and I didn't even look at him. You know, he was really close to me, almost like putting his, like, almost touching me in line, and then I was trying to walk around him. He had to move so far. He had to go like 6 inches out of his way to hit me hard with his shoulder and start that crap. So Lisa Marie says her dad was in charge of the Pegasus project. Yeah, I gotta look into that, Lisa. Yeah, Cyber 9. Yeah, that's Cyber 9 says they are running the satellites that are you know, targeting weapons and geopositioning us. You know, Cyber, though, I think like the Air Force and some other armed forces, like, they run the satellites, but then these contractors like Lockheed Martin or Booz Allen Hamilton, I think they all have clearances. Yeah, geospatial. Yeah, I think they all have clearances, you know, for these satellites. I think the satellites are used for a lot of different things. And so if you're a contractor or subcontractor working with these integrated weapon systems, you're given access to those satellites, right? So, and I got to go listen to the interview again, because I don't know if Dr. Lighthouse was just saying, oh, it's just Lockheed Martin, because that's not what I believe. I think a lot of contractors have access to the satellites. So you said that, I couldn't read. I saw your text, Cyber9. You said the Army is #1. I don't know. I don't know who's, because you got Air Force. You got Air Force Research, the Air Force Research Laboratory. Then you got Naval Intelligence. Put out on videos, Cyber. Do some videos on that, on what you found. Like, on some good information and documentation of that. It seems like the Air Force, to me, is into the satellites big time and into the electronics warfare, but I don't know. I don't know who does the most. Look at that one light car up there. In between, it on the other side has one running light on. It's really pronounced when people drive behind me with one light on and follow me. That's when it's like, okay, yeah, they're definitely following you. Yeah, next, you're saying this is a nice looking car. You see the front of it, like the front of it, all the paint is chipped off. It looks really weird. There's a one light truck right there, that gray truck that just passed by. There's city police. I mean, but this is a long line of cars, right? So, there could be some one light cars in here, police going, just going home for the day or on the job. It all gets mixed in, People are gang stalking me, but it's like, sometimes I probably see a one light car that is not gang stalking, just didn't fix their headlight. And then sometimes I probably see a city police who's not actually, patrolling me. But then there are those that are, and it gets mixed in. I mean, that's the whole point of this. The whole point of it is to hide in, hide in regular everyday things. And they do, they're with me with the microwave torture. It's like they're very careful not to do anything that can be shown physically. They, cook my insides, mess with my brain, all my muscles and nerves on the left side of my head, just charbroil them on the inside of my body. But they're very careful. Like you guys, you TIs, and I guess this is a weird sounding, but if you're getting cuts on you or burns, really, really document that stuff. That's important stuff to document. I don't even know where I'm going. Just driving around listlessly. Messenger of the Cross says some of the platforms are run by AI. Yeah. That's what, I have human operators on my targeting, I think, but over the years they've made it more and more automated. And I think at a certain point, what they want to do is they want to get everything as automated as possible. And even with my gang stalking, I don't get as much as I used to, because they want to take those resources off of the target, make it as automated as possible, keep that targeting going, right? Because they can't just stop targeting you, because then people would believe you. And then they want to take those resources of gang stalking and use it on another targeted individual in the area after many years. They want to try and make it as automated as possible. And like that's such... that got me so angry when Elon Musk is talking about, yeah, we want AI and the symbiotic relationship with the human brain, right? And like, we're living it where AI is parasitically, damaging our brain and psychically driving us and stuff like that. Well, I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful about the JJ says they disabled my laptop and now my BlackBerry, and I got chest pains from low-level microwaves. I'm sorry, JJ. Does anybody know some good passive shielding for the chest? I would start off, I'd get some grounding. Get some grounding, because grounding helps with remote neural manipulation. It helps with the actual signals going through your vestibular system, or even if it's from like an implant or something, it also helps with the external hits too. And then I'd use Dave Case's CD. Featherlight says it feels like someone hates me for no reason. Yeah, Autumn. Autumn says exactly, Kyle. We are living it. Yeah. Selger says I live in a community of stalkers on all sides. Cyber9 says Featherlight. I feel the same way. Guys, like a lot of targeted individuals say that, and at the beginning, when I found out I was targeted for many years, I felt like, wow, these people really hate me and they want to get vengeance on me. And I thought that for many years, but now it's at a point where my attackers, I don't know if this could be a psyop, but it seems like they don't even want to do it really, that it's a job. And they're like, we just have to do it. And it seems like it's not even, it's very personal. They're murdering me and murdering my family. But in a sense, that's why I said that one video, like if their manager came up and said, hey, we're stopping this program and we've got to go do something else now, I think my attackers would be like, okay. They wouldn't care, But, I don't know. That could just be to psyop me. Hey, Tanya. How are you holding up? How are you doing? Yeah, guys, for anybody who's like getting external hits, please cleanse and please use grounding. There's a lot of passive shielding that people are trying, but, cleansing your body, getting the biofilm off, and then making your skin a lot less conductive can work miracles, And I put up my Faraday bunker. I use that to shield. And now I think I'm going to be working with more carbon-based materials. Yeah, Seldridge Walker says Wolverine, it's a source of income for perps. Yeah, definitely. With mine, it just doesn't feel like they hate me anymore. It feels like that was a psyop. Like they were trying to get me to think they were my neighbors who really hated me and had this vendetta, but that was part of the psyop to keep me traumatized and stuff. But I'm not saying anything about anybody else's situation, because it just depends on who gets you into the program, and if they stay on the equipment, if they're allowed to actually work the equipment on you. You know, we've got to learn a lot more, you know, about this stuff, and I think everybody has good insight into their own situation. You know, I think we just gotta make sure that we're connecting on the bottom lines, but then from protocol to protocol, from targeting situation to targeting situation, things can be pretty different. You know, I was noticing my attackers do a lot on S. Robles' video when she was going through her V2K. Her attackers will try and be funny, and it's kind of funny, like a little, but my attackers do that a whole lot. What I've found is, like, I was really scared at the beginning of the V2K and stuff like that. So the V2K was a lot darker, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna put him away, and, you know, oh yeah, we need to murder him tonight and all this stuff. And it was very dark, and it was like they were trying to act like real big killers. Well, they are killers. But then as it went on, I lost that fear, you know, and I was like, oh man, okay, I'm being tortured again, and just kind of became this thing that was just happening. And then my attackers started, like, you know, making jokes. They think they're funny, you know, they make jokes, you know, when they can't really scare you anymore. Like when I was doing a live stream the other night, I was showing some information in the male voice, which he never does this, so it had to have been a manual injection. He was like, he's right. They were talking about me. He was like, he's right, he's right, he's right, and he kept saying it. I was like, oh, you're trying to be funny. I guess that's better than them being scary, dark people. If they make it, kind of cuts the tension a little bit. I don't know. It's like all this is bad, so I guess we just got to find anything that makes it a little bit less bad, you know. I'm not gonna go to McDonald's, man. Thinking about going to McDonald's, but I don't know. No, I'm not going to McDonald's. I'll go to Subway. So with my V2K right now, saying, oh, the woman, she says this a lot now. She goes, this is getting weird. She says, this is getting weird. And I'm like, it was weird when y'all started torturing me, you know? So S. Robo says, Featherlight, we might have spoke through okay. Yeah, you did some really good videos, S. Robles. Very good videos. And when they're hitting you in the throat, my attackers, it's kind of hopeful, because my attackers don't do that to me anymore. Like, so 2012, 2011, 2012 is when it started. But for the first like 3 or 4 years, all the time, they were all the time hitting me in the throat. Just, it would never stop. And especially when I'd sleep, they would always hit me in the throat. And I you know, a lot of it's just torture, you know, it's just trauma, it's just torture and trauma and hurting you. But they do it too to lock in. They're like locking in an electromagnetic field. It's getting in tune with your throat and your jaw muscles, because then they can pick up your inner voice easier, right? They can have a clear signal of what you're thinking in your inner voice, because what you're thinking in your inner voice is going to be pronounced subvocally in your jaw, and tiny little jaw muscles, and tiny little muscles in your throat. Hey, Targeted in Ireland. It's good to see you. Why? Okay, Targeted in Ireland. I want to know this. I've kind of got a question for y'all, especially targeted individuals in other countries. Okay, so like I'm a targeted individual in America. I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I see Targeted in Ireland. So she's an Irish targeted individual. Am I missing all the other Irish targeted individuals? Like Targeted in Ireland, do you see a whole bunch of targeted individuals in Ireland on your YouTube, and because I'm in America, I'm just somehow not seeing those? Or is it actually that not a lot of targeted individuals in Ireland are speaking out on YouTube? Okay, so Targeted in Ireland says there are thousands of TIs in Ireland. Okay. Why? But see, I guess I've seen, you know, you in Ireland, I guess a couple of other TIs from Ireland on YouTube. But I'm just like, this is my question, right? Like, where are all the targeted individuals in China? Where are all the targeted individuals? There's a lot from Australia, but it just doesn't seem like there's as many. So it just doesn't seem like there's as many as in America speaking out on YouTube. Is it just different? Like in Ireland, YouTube's kind of set up where you're getting Irish YouTubers, and so I'm not getting a lot of those in my feed or something like that? Look at this guy. Hey guy, how you doing today? What? I couldn't read what you said. You said next was saying like this is like a business. Okay, Targeted Ireland says censorship in China, Asia, etc. on social media. I'm sure all TIs are censored. Yeah. Like, yeah, even in America here, it's on YouTube. We're considered borderline content. So we're just not going to get as much play. They'll promote us a little bit to people who are like really watching targeted individual videos, really seeking out the information, but it doesn't just flip to somebody who has never heard about targeted individuals. Yeah, I'm sure, like, what's it, Targeted Justice said that in, was it China? In China, their website is being blocked. So they're trying to work on that, like, in a lot. Oh, next level says, it's business, never personal. Those people don't know us personally, and we don't know who they are, where they came from. Yeah, next. That's what mine feels like. But I don't know. I think some targeted individuals, whoever puts them in the program, you know, has a personal vendetta against them and may stay involved in their targeting. Yeah, I'm not quite sure on that, but it feels like for my situation, it's just like these are contractors who signed up with this contractor. They were assigned me. Whenever I got pulled into the program, they were assigned to me. Because my attackers will say that, right? So Cyber9 says that's right, next level, and they are targeted and used to gang stalk us. Targeted in Ireland says they steal, rob, rape. My perps are my neighbors, but police handle them and CIA subcontractors. Yeah. I'm looking at the history of Oshner, where I think I got my non-consensual implant, or at least my first one, and they have this history of working with the CIA, you know, working special programs for the CIA. So I do kind of suspect. Oh, and there's one too. There's a long line of one-light cars. So I do kind of suspect that, like, I'm getting hit by a contractor who contracts out for the CIA. And it seems like I'm getting, like, a lot. Their whole thing, torturing me through the years, was to soften my brain up and get me tired so they can do a lot of things with remote neural manipulation. They're doing a whole lot of things to my brain in layers. I can't even keep track sometimes. What time is it? Like, okay, it's like 5:30. I don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. Probably just sit in my condo and get tortured. I really gotta work on my affidavit. Do something. Gotta do something. Tabitha Jennings says, have you had teeth problems? Yeah, I have tons of teeth problems. Like, I had to get all of my teeth capped with porcelain. Seldridge Walker said, it's hard to escape the brain entrainment. Yeah, that's why I used Dave Case's CD. I was listening, like, I put on the violin, like Lindsey Sterling, and then there's brown noise really works good, guys. Brown noise. Next level says, we are forced into situations where people are placed around us to make us believe they placed us in this program, and then it disappeared. Lisa Marie said, I almost lost all my teeth until I put copper flashing and aluminum foil around my mouth. Yeah. Yeah, my attackers, they haven't done it in a while, but they would just hit like my left teeth, and the teeth, like the inside of the teeth would be real sore. I could just specifically hit like the nerves in the teeth. Yeah, Seldrew Walker, deep brown noise. Brown noise is really good, especially if you have V2K. Tanya says, yes, my back teeth are breaking off. Yeah, for right now, guys, if you do want me to read a message. Okay, so S-Rebel says, yes, Kyle, it seems like they are doing a lot of remote neural manipulation. It's hard sometimes to tell the difference between them and you. It kind of blurs together. Yes, kind of blurs together sometimes. That's like everything with this. It's like they're doing stuff to us. The gang stalking's happening, especially the remote neural manipulation, because if you're sitting there and they're doing these specific functions in your visual cortex and with your inner voice and with your feelings, but they're also torturing you, so you have organic feelings about being tortured, it just all gets mixed in. And it's so, like at the beginning, I could keep track of it so easily, like, oh, they're doing this right now. But then as time rolls on, year after year, and then they're layering stuff, and it's just like, it goes on and on and on. It's like, I kind of just ignore it now. I don't want to figure it out. I don't want to figure out exactly what they're doing, because I feel like sometimes they do things not for a specific psychological reason, but it's so that you can put a meaning to it. It's like so that you can say, oh, they're doing this for this reason. And then they're like, okay, boom, got him. Now we're gonna psychologically go along those lines of what he's thinking. So it's kind of just like, okay, they're like, let's just do something bad, and whatever meaning he puts on it, we'll just run with that, you know? So Target Anonymous says, we TIs, we're the beta test. Elon Musk announced neural lace, soon it would be mandatory. Yeah, Target in Ireland, I did a video about the neural lace thing. So Target in Ireland, like, I was kind of talking about it. I think he's a poster child for the military industrial complex. And I think that they're gonna, like, you know, the neural lace comes from this torture on us. And I think that later on, like, they're gonna have him do some things, you know, with this, and then figure out other things, and then other advancements they're gonna put out through him and say, oh, this is how we figured it out, when it really came from, like, so much torture over the years to targeted individuals and people in MK Ultra. So I feel like he has that function of they're gonna trickle out these new technologies through him and say, oh, he just figured all this stuff out like Iron Man. He's just this incredibly smart guy. He figured all this stuff out, and then just kind of try and erase the history of what we've gone through and what they did to us, you know, for these angles of like consumer market products and military weapons. Tanya Bauer says, I have an arachnoid cyst in my head, Kyle. I'm so sorry, Tanya. Target in Ireland says, I met him 13 years ago in a Dublin nightclub. Ah. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Tanya. Is it giving you a lot of trouble? Does it hurt, or are they gonna have to do a surgery? Yeah, every day I wake up, I'm like, man, when am I gonna, you know, have my tumor, or just really get Alzheimer's? That's not a good way to think, though. We gotta just, whatever, we can't really, you know, you can't really go like, oh, well, this is gonna cause cancer, or this is gonna cause, you gotta kind of hope for the best. We can get out of this, we can make our body healthier and stuff like that. And then if it does happen, you know, handle it then. Lisa Marie says, get a piece of copper flashing and make a band and put it around your mouth on the outside. Okay. Yeah, so Lisa Marie, read that, everybody, what Lisa Marie wrote. If your attackers are hitting you a lot in your teeth. Mine, like right now, it's like they really hit the left side of my head, in my cheek and my eye and stuff like that, and down to the shoulder. And then they do a lot of remote neural manipulation with like messing with my emotions and stuff. I feel like they have to kind of pick. They have a certain amount of juice, and like I don't know exactly, but it seems like they have a certain amount of juice, and it's like, okay, we can do this, this, and this, But if we do this, we can't really hit him with external hits. So if they hit me with a bunch of external hits, then they kind of pull off of my cheek and my jaw. It seems like they shift it. They'll kind of switch it up, you know. Okay, so Tommy says they said it should be okay, but they keep blowing my mind out. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I wish I could just fix this for us all. It's gonna get better though, guys. It's got to. It has to. And there's so much positive stuff coming up. And there's so many new people speaking out. And I think all you guys, Selgers Walker says, yes, Lisa, we all have an extra vertebrae. Oh, okay. Featherlight says, yes, Kyle, it seems there may be a trade-off. So yeah, it's like a trade-off. They're like, okay, well, if we're hitting him with external hits really hard in the back of the neck and the groin, then we'll do the remote neural manipulation too, but we're gonna lay off the left side, you know, where his vagus nerve runs through his face. But then lately they've just been hitting on that because it gives me incredible headaches, you know, where I can barely think. It just feels like my mind has been like scooped out. Like it feels like, I guess when you go to sleep, you know, your conscious isn't aware. It's not quite like that. I mean, my brain hasn't disappeared, but it feels like my consciousness is dimming. Like, I don't know if anybody understands that. It's like my brain does not function as well, so things, just a disconnect, you know? So Lisa Marie was saying that appears a lot of targeted individuals are an Rh negative blood type. There's that brown truck right there. One light, tons of one light. I'm gonna start coming out here and doing this. Maybe they'll gang stalk me more, and I can just get more evidence. 'Cause we got to kind of push here, you know. Really got to push. If you're a targeted individual who's just been knocked down, and I guess we've all been knocked down, I think it's time for our comeback. And remember, you guys, remember this. We gotta, you know, start studying what people, you know, respond to. People love a comeback. People love a comeback. People love underdogs. People like good people who always try and do the right thing. So we're kind of, you know, if we really notice that and really work on those things, you know, work on doing those things ourselves, you know, we can get a lot of people on our side. I think there are a lot of people realizing how insane everything has become in our society. And they're kind of waiting in the wings, kind of coming down. Cyber9 saying, it's true, but we must reach critical mass to stop this. Yeah, I totally agree. I think this worldwide rally is going to be a huge deal in that. And then everybody trying to get class action suits and court cases, even if it doesn't work out right away like we want it to, just trying to get those class action suits or individual court cases is going to get the word out more. When do you guys, so Cyber9, like, when do you think we're going to get to critical mass? Because like 5 years ago, I said this is going to, you know, more and more people are going to speak out, and it's going to get way, way better. It happened a lot slower than I thought, because there's so much censorship and corruption in society. I knew society was corrupt, but I was like, when good people get wind of this, they're definitely not going to just say it's not happening. You know, so all of my predictions were based on kind of a little bit of naive thinking, like that everybody's really good and courageous and they're all going to speak up. But I think that society is so messed up that even some non-target individuals who are pretty courageous kind of keep their mouths shut. So Selgers Walker says plasma storms will destroy these technologies. God, I hope so. I hope so, Selgers. I really hope so. I think I'm gonna go to Subway. I'm gonna get a pizza sub. Cyber9 says it's going to take people getting sick from the 5G networks to stop it. Now that's pretty insightful. You know, once these 5G networks come up, so many more people are gonna start getting sick and start getting cancer and stuff like that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that a lot larger percentage of the population, but see that, you know, in you know, like a lot larger percentage of the population has to be hurt by this. But it just seems like we're already there. You know, so many people are getting cancer and Alzheimer's and everything from microwave towers. When is enough, you know? When is it enough? Yeah, my attackers could be making it like that, Lisa, because they can really screw with my phone. They're not able to screw when I screw with my live streams on my computer, but they can really screw with my phone. So y'all might be getting a really weird, skippy live stream. I didn't even think about that. Guys. All right, guys. Well, I think. Oh, check this out. I like doing videos in the car because it feels like I'm moving. I feel like I'm just sitting in my place and just and getting tortured. Look at this car across the way, that truck across the way. Y'all see it? See, he's got his running light on and that one light out on the right. Looks like he really takes care of his truck. Yeah, Feather says, Kyle, are you going to Dr. Hoffer? Yeah, I got a appointment scheduled for October 9th. And I'm going to try and, y'all email me questions y'all want me to ask them. I don't think I'll have that much time, but if it's a really good question, I'll try and ask him. And I'll try and get him to do a video, like maybe a little 5-minute message to targeted individuals if he feels like he can do that. I don't know why he wouldn't, to maybe give us some hope, you know. So JJ says, is Doc John Hall still alive? Yeah, Dr. John Hall, but he's gotten targeted really bad. Like, I think it started out with all of his ex-fiancés getting targeted, and then they eventually just started targeting him, and I think he had to have heart surgery from all this. Yeah, Featherlight says, I don't want to get my hopes up. That's the thing with me. I really, yeah, next level. I might not stream, like, when I'm in the visit talking to him, I might not stream it, because, like, that'd be too much stuff going on, and I really need to concentrate on important questions. Yeah, but Feather was saying she doesn't try and get her hopes up, too. That's, we need hope. We need real hope, and there is real hope, but there's a lot of avenues where, with a lot of stuff that's worked for me. Look at this light change in the red car, tinted windows. I'm driving a red car, though, so I can't say this person's gang stalking me. But they were, tailgating me and trying to, do all this weird stuff. Cyber9 says a revolution is the only hope. Yeah, but we're going to have to do it. It's going to have to be like the yellow vest in France. They made a lot of changes. It just can't be violent, because everything will get turned on us, if we do anything violent. And I don't think we could build an army, because with this technology they have and all these weapons that the military-industrial complex has, just any kind of militia it would be a joke. So it has to be public awareness. It has to be public awareness and getting people to wake up and really complain about this stuff and say no. I agree, though, Cyber9. Cyber9 said, nope, it's going to be violent. Look at all the veterans dying. Well, then we're screwed, Cyber, because there's no way a militia and people with just regular guns can do anything against our military-industrial complex. I disagree. I think that, it's got to be, I agree about the revolution, but I think we're going to have to be very clever about it. I think people are going to have to be very clever about it. And you're right. Maybe a civil war will happen, but, that'll be people within the system, people within the system, the good and the bad guys having a civil war, and then we're all fucked. So, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I just think it's like if any targeted individual does anything violent, it's just so turned on. Cyber9 says the veterans will realize and help us because too many are dying and the vets notice. Yeah. I don't know. My attackers are ex-military, and they could give a crap. They could give a crap about these veterans being targeted. So I was watching Bill Cottle, and I watched Michael Barton. In my V2K, they're ex-military, microwave me, they don't care. The guy on my V2K goes, he's like, who cares? Nobody cares. I don't care. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Cyber. you know. I just, I even like getting militias in every city with the kind of technology they have in weapons, it's a joke, you know. It has to come from a worldwide, like all the publics of every country complaining about this stuff, and I just think it's gonna. Okay, so Cyber9 says they think they are so immune they will be entered into the TI program. All the bastards running the shit. Yeah, I agree with that. I can't read. If y'all write to, I gotta find a way so I can. How do you keep the messages up where they don't disappear? And they go up more. I'll figure that out for the next one, guys. All right, guys. I've been going for like 105 minutes here. Saw a lot of vehicular stalking. I'm very surprised. I think that it has to do with me not paying attention to it. I think that's it. I don't think that my gang stalking has slowed down at all. I think I'm saying that because when I go out, I don't pay attention to anything, and then I just say, oh yeah, my gang stalking's really toned down. But when I'm actually paying attention to it, it's incredibly a lot. Alright guys, but I love y'all. You can, please subscribe to my channel. You can like and share this video, but I'm just kind of practicing with my live stream. So Jesse Reed says, hey Kyle, any idea if the employees are warned of a targeted person about to shoot a place up? No, I don't think so. I don't think so because Myron Mays went to Florida. He went to that library and they didn't warn anybody, and they were remote neural monitoring him. That's the really, really sick thing, is that that the people remote neural monitoring Myron May watched him do all that. Maybe they anonymously gave a tip to the police after it was done, but they watched him do all that. They watched him kill himself, and then they just moved on to the other target, and they didn't tell anybody about their participation, their neuro weapons, affecting him so that he would go do that. It's incredible. It's incredibly evil. I look at these situations like, well, I won't go into that now. Just like a lot of dark situations that I see, and the hair kind of stands up on the back of my neck, and I really suspect that there's targeting going on in some of these really bad, like, murders and stuff like that, where somebody's like, well, had been a good person all their life and never had any trouble, just goes berserk and like murders their family, and even if there was targeting involved, if there were remote neuro weapons used on those people, the people doing it would just stay quiet. They'd maybe go oopsie, and then they wouldn't tell anybody, and they just move on to the next target. Just like when my dad was almost murdered, I'm sure they were like, oopsie, we didn't mean to cause that aneurysm, but oh well, and we'll still keep targeting him. Just a massive amount of evil. Featherlight says, Boston guy's older brother heard voices. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah. And the Nicholas Cruz did too. Nicholas Cruz is an example of, I'm very, 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 very sure that he was targeted with V2K and remote neural manipulation. And you see, it's like, I was older when I figured all this out, but I don't know if they would have really started hitting me when I was a teenager. I think I was hooked up to this shit when I was a teenager, but it just wasn't as pronounced, and it was I thought it was Crohn's disease pain. But if they would have like started V2K when I was a teenager and stuff, I don't know what would happen. Because when you're a teenager, you're dumb. I mean, even smart teenagers are dumb. They do dumb stuff, That's where, I think we all need to really consider this, and I think we all know it, that kids and teenagers are going through this stuff, and if they tell their parents, they're gonna get put into a mental institute. So I mean, it's all pretty bad. Featherlight says they were Chechen, and the Chechen guy said CIA was causing trouble there, or maybe Dagestan. Okay. Alright guys, I'm going to close out this live stream. I may do some more of these. I apparently am... Oh, look at this white truck behind me. You see? That's it. Like, people can say whatever. There's people who don't fix their freaking one lights. But when you have a bunch of people, like you're driving all day and you have people that show up behind you and they all have one headlights on, they follow you, then it's pretty obvious, you know? It's pretty obvious. And apparently I'm doing some very, very awful psychological gymnastics to think that my gang stalking is getting better. That's why I'm like, sometimes I'm like, man, well, I'm gonna keep making videos. I'm fine. I'm relatively okay, you know, with what I'm going through. But you start doing things to survive in your mind. Like, I'm just like, oh yeah, my gang stalking's getting better, but it's not. I've been ignoring it. And so when I actually videotape it, I see that it's a lot. I'm not that mad about that though. I'm fine, guys. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this live stream, but I'll see you guys soon. Please let me know, like, and guys, you know, if you're a targeted individual with a channel, with a YouTube channel, please promote your channel in my chat. And you know, like, especially at the end, what I might start doing is at the end of my videos or live streams, well, yeah, it's gonna have to be a live stream. Featherlight says, Kyle, do you use a body cam? No, I need to get one. Tanya, you too, hang in there. I'm very sorry that you're going through everything that you're going through. It's just, it really sucks. But guys, like, on a, you know, on my live streams, you know, we'll do an end thing where all targeted individuals with channels, you know, go ahead and promote your video towards the end of the live stream, and I'll give y'all shout outs, right? So we can get some more people to target individuals trying to build up y'all's channels. It took me a long time. Of course, I was country when country wasn't cool, you know what I'm saying? I was talking about this stuff when, like, nobody was talking about it. Just me, William the Bastard, Timothy Trust. I guess there were a few, but I'd get, like, I think the first year I'd get like maybe 100 views on all my videos. It just took a lot longer to build up. I think targeted individuals now starting their channels can build up a lot quicker, which is really great. You know, here, dude, just look at this, y'all. Just look at it. That white car right there. You can't see it. Yeah, Featherlight says, the body cams I feel deter them sometimes. I would get Cloud Live uploading one if I could. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. There's a lot of stuff I need to do. Like, I need to get editing software. I need to get dash cams, body cams. It's just like I don't have money to do it, you know? And I'm trying to prioritize with some of the defensive stuff, like the hearing aid and go and see the doctor. So it's like, you know, we've all got to just take the angles that we can, you know, work the angles that we can. But there's a lot, you know, there's a lot of organizations doing some really good stuff. So, you know, I pick one and kind of help out. Tanya Bauer says we have no money. Waterfall says I have a channel with videos. Waterfalls. Everybody check out Waterfall's channel. But let's start doing that. So start promoting y'all's channels. You know, this is a platform that I want everybody to use, especially because I'm just not sure. I'm going to try and do as much as I can this upcoming next half of the year, but I don't know what's going to happen. Because, like, I'm getting tortured, but I'll just do, you know, I'll just keep going until I can. But I really want to use the platform here on this channel to build up you other TI's channels, you know. Okay, guys, I love y'all. Featherlight says, I don't know, Jesse, but when I wear a cam, hardly anything goes on. Yeah, with me, it's different. When I start filming, they start doing a bunch of stuff. No, sometimes they do that too, Feather. Sometimes they'll stop doing stuff when I have the camera. Today, though, it was just like circus. I guess it's the time. It's the afternoon. Everybody's going home. Everybody's, you know, driving around. And usually people do gang stalking along their daily activities. So next level, hashtag TI Lives Matter. Thanks for coming next. Yeah, you too, Tanya. All you guys have a great night, and just email me. If I haven't gotten back to you in emails, S. Robles says, thanks, Kyle. Appreciate you promoting my channel and other TIs. Yeah, definitely, S. Robles. Definitely, Stacy. Yeah, man, you're doing a great thing. I know it's hard. I know what we go through is so hard, but it really helps people. It helped me. You really helped me the other night. I binge watched all your videos because I think I saw your older videos, but then like you started coming to my chats and I hadn't seen your newer videos, and I just watched them all while I was playing video games, and it felt like, oh, I don't feel so isolated, you know. Oh, thanks Cyber9. Thank you for coming. Everybody check out Cyber9, CYBER and then space 9. Check out her channel. She's got a lot of good information. I'm sure you got a lot of really good evidence if you freaking worked at Lockheed Martin. Autumn, thanks Kyle, and have a good day. God protects. Thank you, Autumn. Thank you for moderating, and just thank you for being an awesome person. Good night, Cyber. All right, good night, guys. I don't know how to turn this off. I might not turn it off and start cussing afterwards. Y'all get to see me cuss. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the stream, guys, but I'll see y'all soon. Y'all take care. Just stay strong. Good things are coming. Good things are coming. We'll get through the bad things.